Question 1244. Are you for or against public displays of affection? How far should they be able to go? I'm going to go with Granny first, I think.
Yeah, you would go with me first because I probably have the most controversial opinion on this, being asexual. I don't see banning it, but it definitely turns me off. I don't really like seeing it. But on the other hand, the Russians have gone too far. I mean, it's not a law, but it's one of the things that we were warned about when we got there was to be very careful about it because they consider kissing in public to be just something you just don't do. And so I'm not against it in a legal sense, but I'm definitely turned off by it.
Junk Shop says smooch yes, snog no. Dudes says as long as against it as long as it's more than 2 seconds. So less than 2 seconds would be fine. Dude says it can be awkward. Of course it can be awkward. But don't forget, we're not just talking about kissing. You've got things like holding hands. You've got walking along arm in arm. You've got snuggled up on the beach.
Dave, just go to it. Blowjobs.
Yeah, blowjobs. All in public.
Just get to the point, Dave.
Now, nerdy asks a relevant question. What about dogging? Cottaging? Badger, what about cottaging?
Rimming?
I like cottages. What is?
I was worried where that sentence was going.
What is the exact phrasing of the question?
Are you for or against public displays of affection? How far should they be able to go?
I am against public displays.
You doing or other people?
I don't like things. I don't like people in public. I would prefer people should remain in private.
So you don't think people should be able to walk along holding hands?
I don't think people should be able to walk along because I want to walk along and not see people.
Right, so your issue here is with the people, not the public displays of affection.
Yes.
It's very reminding of the fact that people are there. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't like people in general, and I'd prefer if they didn't. To answer the question more directly, though.
Go on.
I don't think public displays of affection. I don't think, as long as they are not kind of indecent in terms of people undressing themselves and flaunting their bodies at people, should be banned. But I think there should be a somewhat strong social stigma against a lot of it.
So how would you feel about, for example, a girl sat on a guy's lap on a bench? She's got a skirt on, and they're just wiggling around. That's all you can see.
They're sitting on a bench.
The guy is sitting on the bench. The girl is sitting on the guy.
Are there other benches?
Yes, there are other benches.
They're probably okay then.
Fair enough. So badges down on the side of shagging in public is fine.
If I can figure out what they're doing but they're not in the way, then I'm probably okay with it. If they are in the way, then I'm not. If that's the only bench available, then I will be slapping them. So stop taking
Again,
up the benches,
it doesn't feel like, though, that your issue is with the displays of affection. It's with them using a bench you want to use.
Well, it's... People are an inconvenience.
Yes. Right.
I'd rather.
You have to let me go next, Dave, or I'll forget my answer.
Okay, give me 2 seconds to read the chat.
When badge is finished.
As long as their public affection is not inconveniencing everybody, or being excessively lewd, I don't really give a shit.
Okay. Dude says it's that making out can be too much or necking. Chad says, I am for them. They should refrain from going too far. People need to be aware how it makes others feel. Kissing is fine, but beyond that, you should find a bathroom stall. Junk Shop says, should have a designated area for dogging. Nerdy Rodent says, as far as I'm concerned, people can shag like bunnies in public, but agree with Junk Shop that designated areas is a good idea. Junk Shop says, Badger wants PDA to be the atheist of behaviour, technically legal but societally frowned upon. Wayne says, I think it makes others uncomfortable for many reasons, and it should be limited to very minor displays.
Never frowns upon atheists. Oh, Americans, yeah.
Yes. Sammy!
So obviously I'm for it. And how far it should go. Rimming, yes. Felching, no.
I hit my head on the
desk. No, I do have... Sorry, you're probably demonetized now. I do have a serious answer, though.
Ooh.
In general, if we're talking public where there's children, I don't even think pashing and stuff is really appropriate. I think it should be anything you'd be comfortable with a 3-year-old doing to another 3-year-old if they're going to see you do it.
That's pretty much nothing.
Exactly. So, but you hold hands, peck on the lips. I just mean don't be full licking each other's faces and shit, going for it.
But
as far as
10
being
p.m.
in
at 10
public,
p.m. at night outside of a club.
Exactly. On a bus, no one else is on the bus. Bus driver's obviously not getting any, so he doesn't mind watching. Go for it. Not speaking from experience.
Of course not. Never Again says, I have many layers to my answer and I won't go into it, but get a room comes out of my mouth. You've probably gone too far. Jess says, go on.
I have a question and clarifying statement. My clarifying statement is I am for dogging as long as it's out of the way.
Okay.
And I want to know what cottaging is.
I suggest you do a search.
As do I.
I will search.
Say again?
I will search.
You'll search. Welcome back, both of you.
Ask what dogging is, but not going to be so.
Someone needs to explain to Manda what dogging is.
It's like group sex in public.
Wait, did you say group sex?
Oh, is that?
It's like a load of somewhat unattractive older people go to a remote location and do things to each other.
Does it have to be older people?
It usually is older people.
It
not
doesn't
dogging.
have to be. It's just
No. Dogging is not older
What?
people. Cottaging
I'm not saying
tends to involve older people.
The definition isn't older people. I'm saying it just usually is.
How would you know this?
Because
combination
there's some very
of that.
popular dogging spots near my badger set. Thank you very much.
So this is how you pick out where to do your sets.
No comment.
No comment.
Yeah,
Let me
I'm not
catch up
telling
on
you
the
about
chat.
my Pornhub channel.
we will not confirm nor deny.
His surveying.
What
skills.
happens on Dave's channel stays on Dave's channel.
Jess? It really doesn't. Jess says,
No.
not my thing, but I can simply mind my own business and not look, barring anything involving actual sexual acts. But what's a sexual act varies. I mean, this is where you get the really dodgy religious stuff. You have Islamic people that think showing bits of your bloody ankle is considered a sexual act.
Or holding hands.
Cottaging is. Why is it called cottaging though?
Nerdy suggested we say, "Okay, Google, what is cottaging?" Shit, my phone is actually looking it up.
To have or observe exhibitionist sex in a public or semi-public place, usually outside where other people will watch and sometimes join in.
Oh goodness.
Thank you, Google.
That's not what Urban Dictionary says for
No,
cottaging.
No, that's what Nerdy said.
Oh, I thought that was dogging.
That's his dogging.
That probably is dogging.
According to this, cottaging is the act of having anonymous sexual encounters with other men in public toilets.
Usually older.
Cottage.
Don't ask.
You're curious.
I don't want to know the answer to this.
I do not.
Right,
No.
can we go? Right, do's and don'ts. People should be.
Hang on, there's a conversation here.
Where?
On Urban Dictionary. Fancy going cottaging? Guy 2, let me get my carrier bag.
Carrier bag. No. A do's and don'ts says people should be able to, but be considerate of others while doing it if you need to get a room. Rooms are expensive.
Exactly.
Never again says Sammy gets a room. The junk shop says demonetized now. Harmonica Man says I don't like public displays of affection. Never again says well holding hands is a must, damn it, unless you want to be a total don't ever touch me sort of human. Nerdy says toilet stall in a club. Well, you've got a room there. That counts. That's fine.
I thought
it's not the most romantic place. Say again?
That's what clubs were for. Was for the weird, touchy people to be weird and touchy.
That's for pre-sex, though. You know, the whole fucking.
Oh, you've got this weird age thing, haven't you?
Huh?
We start having sex at 16. We go to clubs at 18. Clubs are all about sex. I've completely lost track of chat. Right, we're done. Manda.
I don't know.
What happens on Dave's channel becomes the topic du jour everywhere we go for a week and a half. Junk Shop Library.
Oh, I'm gonna get questions about dogging.
Ugh.
Why are you going to get questions about dogging?
Because I've just said there are dogging sets. Dogging. Oh, fuck it. You know what I said.
I'm going to have to look up dogging sites in your area of the world.
Dogs
What,
chase
forests
badgers.
in England.
Are you saying that lots of forests have dogging sites?
Yes.
Junk Shop says, oh, pre-sex. I thought the Georgian said priest sex for a second.
I'm fairly sure that every National Trust car park has at some point been a dogging site.
Don't stop. Just why? Like, what the fuck did I ever do to you? Damn.
Right, I'll be back.
Mandy, you should.
Bitches are
Manda,
mean.
you should embrace your roots. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Not roots, and you stood up for me earlier and specifically said she's not.
Yeah, but I'm a contrarian fucker, so.
Fuck you all.
Manda.
I don't know. Like, obviously, you wouldn't want to be inappropriate in front of children, but I think, you know, we're affectionate. We're an affectionate species, and that's part of the way we show our love. So I'm not opposed to PDA. Just I don't need to watch like super gross stuff by strangers. Like, I don't know.
What do you think is super gross? And is your limit for seeing it less than your limit for doing it?
I don't know. Like, there's, you know, ways you can kiss a person that is sweet, and there are ways that make you want to hurl. So if you look like you're
talking
trying to eat the other person's head,
yeah,
or if I can see spit at all, or like a heart on, you know.
But you're...
Or they start frotting.
And so what?
Frotting.
What the fuck is frothing? Frotting.
It's Dave's word of the day.
How is it my word of the day?
Dogging was the word.
How
Is
do you
Lone
not know
Wanderer in the
that?
chat? Maybe it could be Lone Wanderer's word of the day.
Oh, wait, was
It is.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm
Dave,
I'm
that's
dealing
terrible.
With the child for a second. So what is this?
Okay,
Do I
so
wanna
on
ask-
Dave's birthday, Lone Wanderer did her word of the day in honor of Dave, and her word was frotting.
Mm.
Oh,
which is
which is what?
rubbing on other people in public, usually against their will.
Weren't we just talking
Or
about?
not against their will, without their
Dave?
consent.
Why is this always a conversation? Okay, good to know.
So it's because you're intrigued and want to know the answers. Your brain says, "I want to know the answer to that," and then it goes, "Shit, no, I don't. Why did I say that?"
I want to know the answer to that. Do I want to try that? I learned so much from you, Dave. Thank you.
Apparently, Elena says hi to Manda. Is she listening?
Yeah, maybe. Hi, Elena, sweetheart.
Oh dear, I'm glad she doesn't comprehend most of what we're saying.
Right, we call it dogging. We call it dogging when we take the dogs out for a walk.
Walk.
Precisely.
That's right.
Like Pat, who should probably go out for a walk right now. Do that.
Do not in any way tell your school friends when your dad takes the dog for a walk.
Exactly. All right, that was my answer. So.
Okay, Jeff.
You know, I guess do I just, it doesn't really particularly bother me, even like small things like holding hands, hugging, kissing. Doesn't bother. I mean, obviously, yeah, I don't necessarily want to see people would have been rimming in front of kids or whatever, but I wouldn't have a problem.
What about a finger bang?
Designated areas.
What about a finger bang, Sammy?
Would you be okay with you saw someone
in public?
No kids around, but you're there. They know you're there, but they don't care.
Yeah, no.
Would it bother you?
See that?
I don't get on with it.
Get on with the fingering? Okay.
Well,
Good on you,
it might be on a train. It might be on a train or something. You might have nothing to read.
I mean, I'm sure I've done that.
She thinks. Right.
Hey, Dave?
What?
You know what?
My answer's complicated.
I don't care.
Well, shorten and uncomplicated.
It should be fine on pretty much any level.
Any level?
Pretty much.
With provisos, I hope.
No, my issue is that society has gone down this route of how things were 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 400 years ago, 500 years ago, 600 years ago. As a species, what was acceptable to do in front of other people. It was very different to how it is now. And we've kind of sleptwalk into this level of prudishness. Okay, so you asked me, the society that we have right now, should public displays of affection, I think, fine. Push the boat a bit. As long as you're not doing anything obvious. Right? But the problem is I think where we are at, because of how we raise people now, the level of disgust is so low that it shouldn't be. It should be normalised. Sex should be normal. It shouldn't be a big deal.
I think where the grey comes in, though, Dave, is I guess what the end result of normalised is what the question is. But still, kids being normalised to sex means they can be taken advantage of more easily.
I disagree. I think being normalised to it. Say again. I think being normalised to it and told outright what is acceptable for their age, so they can identify it. So that you don't need you have to tell your kid. If someone starts touching you weird, come and tell an adult. Well, what the fuck is weird? You tell you give the child you tell the child that stuff you've seen us do, mummy and daddy doing. Anyone comes anywhere near you with this, you scream blue fucking murder. I I think if you can have much more honest conversations, if they actually understand what you're doing.
But I think the trouble comes into their ability to comprehend it.
But they don't need to comprehend it.
Exactly, but they do, because someone on the other side can do the same thing.
I think that you tend to, I think you're, I've forgotten the word, I think the influence of your family at that point is much stronger. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah,
That,
that's a
but
good
I think
point.
the level, as long as the information you are getting is clear and consistent, and again, this making it a taboo. I mean, it makes for great sex as adults because it makes lots of things taboo, and that makes them kinky.
Fun.
Yes, but it makes it a taboo. It makes it not talked about. It makes it something that kids want to find out about. Anyway.
Yeah, and I guess that's the difference between teaching them about it and...
Jenny says, I don't want to take a ride in a public bus and sit down in someone else's wet spot. No, I can agree with that. But see, I'd have a problem with that if they pissed either. And that's completely non-sexual. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to go on a limb here and say, I don't want to sit on any wet spot, regardless of how it came about. Right. Anyone else before we move on? You're all muted. That's what happens when I rant. If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.